Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the HPC NST-6 Safe Opening Toolkit. This is a video that's going to show you the safe opening toolkit. It's not going to be a demonstration on how to pick a safe open. I understand the fundamentals of safe lock construction, how to identify all the parts, how they work, how bypass is achieved, but a safe picker is the furthest thing from what I do to make a living. But this video will serve as an overview of the tool set along with a visual review of the tool set. So according to the installation instructions, which are linked to down below, designed by Norm Schampf, it says, the safe opening tools were designed by a gentleman by the name of Norm Schampf. I do not know who he is. Must be a pretty smart fella to design lock bypass tools. NST, maybe Norm Schampf, I'm thinking. Now, this is designed for use after a burglary has been attempted. After a burglary has been attempted. So what that means is, from what I've read, is that burglars will typically try to peel the dial off and then smack the spindle through the entire door, the lock, back out of the lock case. And while I can't speak as an expert on what happens in many locks when that's attempted, that process can certainly force the bolt into a locked position. So driving the spindle out, if I recall correctly, that tactic may work on safes that were manufactured, 100 years ago. But I don't believe it's a bypass method that any expert would use at all as a primary means to get a safe open. So this tool set is, you've come in, someone tried to get the safe open, now you come in to get the safe open. And that's where this tool set comes in. Designed for use after a burglary has been attempted, each tool has a specific function to deactivate the relocking mechanism or to draw the bolt back by grasping the fence. Okay, so the fence is ultimately connected to the bolt. The fence is connected to a lever. The lever is connected to the bolt. When the fence can enter into the gates of your round wheels, 3 wheels, 4 wheels, they have a gate cut in them. When those gates are all aligned as a result of manipulating the safe with the combination, those gates will align. And when you turn the dial, the fence will activate, drop into those gates, and then you can continue to turn, and that's when you pull the latch back. So the concept of these tools is to basically emulate that process where you're going to get a tool to work on the fence directly or on the lever fence, which is connected to the bolt directly to pull the bolt back, or perhaps to be able to manipulate the gates in such a way where you can get the fence nested inside of there. These installation instructions call out specific works for the Lagarde 1800. I don't know much about safe locks at all, as I said earlier. I'm familiar with the names. I'm familiar with the theory of how they work. I've studied safe locks, but I don't work on them on a daily basis. I don't work on them on a monthly basis, just out of the appreciation of locksmithing knowledge. Safe locks certainly are a big part of it. Lagarde 1800, they are, from what I understand, a leading manufacturer of safe locks, along with Sargent & Greenleaf. There is a Sargent & Greenleaf section here as well as a Mosler 302 and 402 section here. So let's do an overview of each of the 3 manufacturers' lock types and the specific tools that are needed for that. This is what the tool looks like when you roll it out of the paper that it comes in. Okay, nice little drawstring. Well, forgive me, nice little tie string setup here, very typical for HPC. Okay. Those are your tools. 6-piece tool set. I'm going to lay this down and we're going to kind of take a look and see what those tools are used for based on the lock type that you'll be working on. Now, I've gone on to read a little bit about the Lagarde 1800 bypass method. So you're going to use their tool, the NSTD, and there is a drawing showing what it looks like. This is the NSTD tool. And what they want you to do is to insert this through the hole that your burglar has created for you. It's going to compress down. It will resume its natural position. You're going to insert that through. Next, gently pull the handle outward, which moves the tip toward the first wheel. So you're all the way in. Pull that out so that this is going to hit the first wheel that it encounters, not wheel 1, the first wheel. And what they want you to do at that point is to carefully draw that in as you rotate. And what you're seeking for is the gate. The installation and you can obviously tell this is a tool for this Lagarde 1800 because this dimension has to be quite specific, where you're coming through, of where the spindle would ride through to connect to the dial ring. I forget the name of it. There is a device that sits under the wheel pack, which is the cam that drives everything initially. So this is obviously going to, what they want you to do is to put that in and out, and as you're going around, you're searching for access to the gate. If you looked at any type of drawing on the next side, they don't call it out, but that's the gate right there. So as your tool is through the center of the hole, you're working that around to find the gate. Now they've got a couple of things they point out on this lock that you need to be aware of. 2 obstacles they call it. First of all, your change wheel hole. When you want to change the combination of a safe lock, you will, from the back side, you will insert your change key. There's a hole for that. The change key goes in, and as you rotate the change key, it will spread flat springs around the, I think it's called the wheel pack, where you can then realign your wheel to accommodate a new combination. So you got to watch out for the change key hole, but also the balance holes. Balance holes are very interesting. They certainly will exist on the wheels. It's because the gate that you have, the gate on the wheel pack, that would give you the ability to, in your mind's eye, realize that the weight of the wheel itself is not perfectly symmetrical all the way around the wheel because you're missing some material for the gate. Think of the rim on your car where they put a counterweight somewhere so that it when it turns without, I don't understand the physical term for this or the mechanical term or the scientific term, so that you don't, turn in a counterintuitive or counterproductive way of the wheel turning. It has to be balanced. So your balance hole is going to be basically made in such on an area of the wheel so that the wheel is not heavier at one end. Why would that matter? Turns out, I've read, safes on ships, because of there not being balance holes and the constant vibration that a safe lock will go through on a ship, basically aligns all the gates. and people can walk up and just pull it open. So they put balance holes. So a balance hole is also going to be an obstacle which you have to be mindful for to be able to watch out and accommodate. There is a fascinating book. It's a 2-volume. Each book is 800 pages. 2 volumes. It is titled Locks, Safes, and Security, and it is published by, the author is Mark's, bear with me. I just finished almost 100% of both volumes. There was some of it that I didn't simply need to read, as it would never be subject matter that would ever cross my desk. Mark Weber Tobias. The book is called the 2 volumes, Locks, Safes, and Security, an International Police Reference. Mark, M-A-R-C, Weber Tobias. If you want to learn if you are into locksmithing, if you have been bitten by the bug of the love of locksmithing, that reference guide is where you will separate the amateurs from those who identify themselves as learning everything possible about locks, the science behind what locks are made of, the metallurgy of the material, all the way up to methods of bypass, how to properly work on safes, things of that nature, and do so in such a way as a result of the perspective of Mr. Tobias's background, which is investigation, working for the FBI, etc. So what the instructions go on to say is, as you are using this tool, you're not drawing it in and out as I had mentioned earlier. You're rotating this to try to rest it against your first wheel, assuming that you've not gone right into the gate the first time. You slide your depth gauge down, and now that you know, and as you probe the rest of the wheel, and you're going to have to pull it in, obviously, when you move in one position, you'll know you have found a gate for the first wheel that you encounter. You can then rotate that wheel and repeat the process to find the gate of the second wheel that you encounter, and do that again to find the third wheel that you encounter. And at that point, you'll have all of the gates lined up. What they basically want you to do at that point is to remove the tool, and then you will be in a position by which you're able to have the fence enter the aligned gates. The next step is to insert your NST-A tool with the tip pointed down. This is going to fit right over the relocking wire. Turn the tool clockwise, which will engage the lever and draw back the bolt. Okay, so these two tools will be used for your Lagarde 1800. Now let's move on to a review of the Sargent and Greenleaf instructions that they have here. Now the process on the Sargent and Greenleaf is the same, where you're still going to be using your gate aligning tool. Okay, but then you have a couple of additional probes that will, this is the NST-B, or you'll use the NST-C depending on the old style or the new style, to manipulate what is called the relocker. The relocker is basically a device that when the bolt is in the thrown position, a ball or something will seat into the bottom of the bolt, preventing manipulation. Well, you've got to work that relocker clear so that the bolt can then be retracted. And that's what the purpose of these two tools are. Okay. The first part of the entire process is the same as the Lagarde. Now let's take a look at the last section, the Mosler. Okay, now finally we've got the Mosler 302 or the 402. The only difference between the two is the quantity of wheels. One has 3 and one has 4. The other has 4. With those types of locks, if they've driven the spindle out, they've knocked the wheel pack off as well. So you don't use the B tool to manipulate any wheels because they shouldn't be there at all. What they want you to do is to insert the tool number, the tool letter NST-F. You'll be able to insert that and then turn it clockwise to lift the lever. Then you're going to insert the last tool that's in the kit. That is the NST-F-E. This is what's going to allow you to get control of the relocker in the Mosler 302, 402. So you're going to be able to get that relocker depressed, and as you get it depressed, you'll continue to rotate that to pull the bolt back. So obviously, a study of how to open safes is one that has to be taken to be proficient. And the purpose of this video was to simply give you an overview of what these tools look like. Okay, typical HPC quality, very good quality material. I do own a handful of HPC tools. Obviously, you know, the Blitz machine, the standard of I think every lock shop that exists. I also have their micrometer, which is a nice tool to use, and I have their tap and die for mortise cylinders, things of that nature. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the HPC products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the HPC NST-6 safe manipulating tools or any other HPC product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.